This video that you're about to see from MSNBC is amazing. It's honestly one of my favorites, maybe of all time. But this is what happens when you talk to young voters about the election. This should be a wake-up call for the Democratic Party. Of course, it won't be, but let's see what particularly young black women in this instance think about their choices in 2020.
I am totally undecided. I'd write your name in at this point.
Usually by now I would have voted already, but I'm just not comfortable with either one of them right now.
What are you looking for? What do you need to hear?
Let's start at the crime bill and the fact that he has not only not apologized, not only
Joe
not
Biden.
he is not only not rectified. Every time he reverts back to, well, it was the Black Caucus members in the church, but they were with it too. Okay, you fooled them as well.
You know, you never said I'm sorry. You know, it's like I didn't do it.
I want to hear an ironclad plan. I don't want to hear if this or if that or after the election.
Does the presence of Kamala Harris on the Democratic ticket sway you at all?
Not at all. I don't know who said she had our vote. She does not. We were supposed to grab onto Kamala with the black girl magic, but that didn't happen because she didn't right her wrongs. Like, I hold officials accountable. I don't care what color you are. And I think that too often we automatically think that because someone looks like you, that they're going to have your best interests at heart. And that's just not simply true.
They're not getting fooled. You're not going to get anything by them. It's not going to happen. Inject that video straight in my veins. Inject that video straight in my veins. That's what politics is at its best, right there. So let's go through some of what they say here. I'm undecided, even though it's Trump and Biden and all you hear nonstop, Trump is the worst, oh my God, he's so bad, you got to do the lesser evil vote. They say, I'm undecided. I'd write your name in before I'd vote for one of these clowns. Then they're asked, hey, what are you looking for? Like, what do you need to hear? Very first thing that's brought up, what is it? Joe Biden and the crime bill. The crime bill, which helped lead to our mass incarceration crisis, locking up nonviolent offenders and ruining their lives. Ruining their lives. The same time Hunter's getting kid glove treatments and rehab for his drug problem, Joe wanted to lock up poor black kids for it. For the same issue. They have the sentencing disparity. Crack cocaine, you get a lot more time than powder cocaine because black people use the crack cocaine. So Mr., tough on crime, law and order Joe Biden, turns out that's coming back to bite him in the ass here. Now, by the way, Biden's up in the polls massively, so he's very likely to win the election, but this is what you need to understand. If he wins, it's because he chipped away at old people and got the suburbs to support him. There's a report that came out today about how people making over $100,000 a year, they're overwhelmingly giving to Joe Biden and not Trump. So, in other words, young people are like, wow, this system is ridiculous. This system is a sham. And I see through it. I think it's bullshit. So your options are Donald Trump, a guy who continued all the wars, a guy who just cut taxes for the wealthy, deregulated to the point where millions of people are going to have dirty drinking water because he got rid of the regulations on coal plants. I mean, I could go on and on here. He's done a million things that are absolutely abysmal. It's that guy, or it's the mass incarcerating war criminal, Joe Biden, a guy who voted for the Iraq War, which was an illegal and offensive war that killed minimum 200,000 Iraqi civilians. Those are our choices. And I like, one of them says, I want to hear ironclad plans on how to get out of this pandemic, on how to fix the economy. It's policy. It's about policy to me. And then, of course, at the end, cherry on top, this says it all for the younger generation who's hyper-educated on politics. We're the most educated on politics. They basically say, listen, identity politics is BS. I don't think Kamala's going to support me and be for the policies I'm for just because she's a black woman. That's ridiculous. That's like me. Like what? Do I think Donald Trump is going to represent me because he's a white guy and I'm a white guy? Absurd. I disagree with him on almost everything. So this is the point they're making. Oh, because she's a black woman, I'm supposed to just shut my brain off and say, well, she somewhat looks like me, so therefore she's going to represent me. Except Kamala Harris is the person who laughed at the idea of legalizing marijuana in 2014. She laughed at it. When her Republican opponent was like, I want to legalize marijuana, she was laughing when she was asked a question about that. She's for civil asset forfeiture, which is legalized robbery by police officers, shaking down regular people. She let Steve Mnuchin off the hook of One West Bank when Steve Mnuchin, who's now the Treasury Secretary, by the way, and he was a Goldman Sachs lackey, criminal, when Steve Mnuchin was illegally foreclosing on grandmothers and grandfathers in California and kicking them out of their homes during the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession. Kamala's own office said, prosecute him, and she didn't do it. Why? She took donations from Steve Mnuchin. Turns out, young people are very educated on politics, and you're not pulling this trash on young people. So, and you could shame people all you want, and I mean this sincerely, even for people who, might be in my audience or might be in other audiences or whatever, that you could shame, and, well, obviously, Joe Biden is better. Somebody can totally concede on that point, that he is a lesser evil, but still have an issue with doing a lesser evil vote. Because again, some people are going to say that I can't look past the crime bill, mass incarceration, ruining an entire generation of people who could have had bright futures, but you ruined their lives. I can't look past that. I can't look past that. I can't look past the Iraq war vote. There are going to be people who say that. And you could berate them and call them bad people all day, but if somebody's real objection is, I'm thinking about the 200,000 dead Iraqi civilians that were killed in part because of this guy's vote, I don't think your shame really matters much. I think that shame actually should be flipped right back on you for not recognizing that that's a totally legitimate objection. So listen, this is what happens. Now, again, I want to reiterate here, Biden is up huge in the polls. It's very likely he's going to win the election. But my point is, it's not because of the younger generation. Because there are still many people in the younger generation who you're not going to get them with BS arguments. This is just like the article that came out in 2016. They went to a Milwaukee barbershop, the New York Times did, and spoke to them about the election. And a lot of them just didn't vote. Because they were like, we voted for Obama, thought things were going to change for the better, and they didn't. So now you want me to vote for Hillary? I'm not going to vote for her. Do something for me. Tangible. I want something tangible. I want Medicare for all. We all need healthcare. We're the only developed country that doesn't have healthcare for everybody. If we do Medicare for all, everybody gets healthcare, and we save $5 trillion over a decade. I want that. Give me that. Give me free college. Eliminate student loan debt. We pay taxes. Why shouldn't our taxes go towards something for us? Instead of now they go to Wall Street bailouts and they go to endless wars. How about stop the Wall Street bailouts, stop the endless wars, take that money and give it to the people? How about a universal basic income check? Another stimulus check in our COVID depression. How about that? This is what these voters are saying. I don't want to hear any nonsense. I don't want you to shove identity politics down my throat. I don't want you to hit me with platitudes and cliches. I want substance. And this is what the young generation is demanding. Now, again, Biden's very likely to win, but don't get it twisted. The only reason he will, if he does, is because he chipped away at the suburbs, he chipped away at old voters, and it was purely an anti-Trump swing election to the point where you could run a rusty bucket with vomit in it against Trump, and the rusty bucket with vomit in it would probably win over 300 electoral votes. So they're going to take all the wrong lessons from it and think corporatism is awesome. And isn't it great when we stand for nothing and spew platitudes? That's going to be what they take away from it. But just remember, these people are the future. These young black women, the entire young generation, we're the future. I don't know if I could say we anymore because I'm 32. I don't think they're as old as I am, but younger people are the future of politics. So you can keep tricking us or try to trick us for as long as you want. At some point, it's going to backfire, and we're already seeing the cracks in the foundation.